Hi Kelly, my name's Amy and I'm one of the doctors here at Student Health. What do you want to talk to me about today?
Well, I've just been feeling a bit worried because my studies have started suffering lately and I just feel tired all the time.
I'm really sorry to hear that. Can you tell me a bit more about what's going on?
Well, I'm not really sleeping lately and I'm feeling kind of stressed out about that, and my course isn't going so well, and I don't know, I guess I've never had any trouble with this before.
So things are a bit difficult, aren't they? You're not sleeping, your course isn't going well, you're not getting the grades, and you're just not, things are just not really working for you.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. Yeah.
That sounds really difficult.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm just not feeling myself at the moment, and I don't feel like I've got any energy, or I don't feel like hanging out with my friends. Yeah, I don't really know what to do.
Okay. Well, look, I'm glad you're here, and I'm really sorry that you feel like that, and it's difficult talking about things like this, I know.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you some other questions so that I can try and find out if there's a way that we can help?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know you, I've not met you before, so I'm going to ask you about you. So who are you living with?
I'm flatting with two friends, and so I come from the Hawke's Bay originally, and I've moved to Wellington to study. So it's a really nice flat, and we're really close.
So you get on well with them?
Yeah, well, normally we get on really well, and we hang out and we're pretty social, but I guess lately I've just not felt like it.
Okay. Yeah. Have you been able to talk to them about how you're feeling?
No, I guess I've just been a bit withdrawn, and I haven't talked to anybody really.
Sometimes it's hard, isn't it?
Yeah.
Other than your flatmates, is there anyone else that you think you could talk to?
Well, I talk to my mum on the phone quite a lot, and it's just that she's really busy with work at the moment, and I don't want to bother her with my grades and things like that.
Okay, so you're talking to mum, but you're not actually really telling her how bad you're feeling.
Yeah, I don't want her to, feel bad and have to worry.
It sounds as if you're struggling to relax. You're not sleeping and socialising. Is there anything else you normally do that helps you relax?
Well, I used to do CrossFit, and I was pretty into that. Had a really good community. Yeah, but I guess I don't know, it just feels like too much of an effort at the moment.
So everything's quite an effort. You obviously normally have quite a lot of energy if you can do CrossFit. It's pretty full on, isn't it? So I think this is really affecting you quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. I hadn't really thought about it, in depth before, but I guess when you put it that way, it is. Yeah.
I think there are some things that we could do to help, but in order to help, I think I need to ask you a few more specific questions. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Do you smoke at all?
Nah, it kind of gets in the way of my fitness.
Sure.
Yeah.
What about alcohol?
Yeah, a little bit. We usually go to parties on the weekend, but I'm not a big fan of getting completely wasted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what about recreational drugs? Do you use those at all?
Oh, nah, I kind of think they're a bit stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
So The other question I'm going to ask you, it might seem a bit strange, but we always think about this with young women who are tired. Is there any chance that you could be pregnant?
Oh, no, I shouldn't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been quite a long time since I,
Sorry to be specific, but quite a long time is different for different people. When was the last time that you had sex?
18 months.
Okay.
I think, yeah, New Year's.
Yeah. You mentioned your mum and your flatmates. Do you have a partner at all at the minute?
No. No
Okay.
partner.
This might seem a strange question, but it kind of gives me a lot of information. When was the last time that you remember enjoying doing anything?
Wow. I guess I haven't really thought about that, but now that you mention it, it's been quite a long time, maybe a month or so. Yeah, that's around when I stopped going to CrossFit, I guess.
That's really tough. That's a long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Associated with not enjoying anything, have you felt down or depressed?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe a little bit. I guess I'm just a bit worried about stuff.
Can you tell me about the stuff you're worried about?
I don't know. I haven't experienced any of this stuff. I don't know. I just don't really want to speak about it right now.
Look, that's absolutely okay.
Okay.
And you need to take your time, and it's absolutely okay. Sometimes it's difficult to talk about something. So when and if you're ready, we can talk about that. Okay? The other thing I need to ask you, and we always ask people who we think might be a little bit down, is have you thought about hurting yourself in any way?
Oh, no. Well, I don't know, I guess, sometimes it feels like a lot to deal with, but I couldn't do that to Mum,
Okay, Kelly, these are difficult things, difficult questions that I've been asking you, and it does sound as if things are really tough at the minute. It's across your life. It's your work, your studies, your flat, your exercise, and given the answers to the questions, it does lead me to think that possibly you might be suffering from some sort of depression.
Yeah, wow, okay, I guess I did wonder if it could be something to do with my mental health.
Do you know much about depression?
Not a lot really, but I don't know if I fit exactly into what I've read on the internet and from what some of the people at uni are experiencing. It just seems like different, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so it's really good that you've sort of tried to inform yourself. Can you tell me from your readings and things what you think doesn't fit?
Well, I don't feel sad all the time, and I don't really feel like crying. I guess I'm just really tired and find it hard to concentrate. So, yeah.
Look, I completely hear what you're saying, and you're right. Depression often does kind of affect people's moods, and it makes them feel sad, but that's not always what happens. With some people it makes them withdraw, which you've talked about. from their friends and from the things that they like to do well. And it causes them to feel fatigued and have a lack of energy, and it can affect your sleep as well, that's why I'm sort of thinking along those lines.
Yeah, well, like, I guess that makes sense. So it doesn't have to only be about my mood. It can.
No,
you're saying that it can affect me physically as well.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. Okay. What can I do about it?
Well, look, there are lots of things that we can do, and we'll talk about a few different options. I'm going to give you a leaflet, so at the end of this, that covers everything. So don't worry that you've got to remember all of the different things that we're going to talk about, but let's just explore the options so that we can see what you think might help.
Okay, thanks. That actually would be great.
Okay, so look, there are some things that I can talk to you about that you can do for yourself, and there are other things that I can do for you as a doctor. Where would you like to start?
Well, can we start with the sleep, because I think that's the thing that's impacting me the most at the moment.
You're feeling pretty exhausted.
Yeah.
Look, in light of the fact that you feel so tired, I'm wondering whether we should give you just a few sleeping tablets to try and get you a few good nights sleep. What do you feel about that?
It would be really good to get a good night's sleep. I'm just worried about how it would affect my body. And I've also heard that you can get hooked on them.
You're absolutely right, you can. They do have an addictive nature, which is why I'm just thinking about giving you a few. And what I'm thinking is that you take one night, one the next night, and then you don't take the others in succession. You have a night without one, and then you have one, and then you have a night without one, and then you have one. And that way you know that you're going to get some good night's sleep over the course of the next few days, which kind of will possibly help you relax a bit more, but we're not going to give you any more than that.
Okay, that sounds good. Would I be able to drive on them?
Okay, you can drive, absolutely. But it's like, even you can drive with one glass of wine, but you mustn't drive if you're feeling woozy. And having said that, it's not a good idea to have alcohol and the sleeping tablets at the same time.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, that's helpful. Are there any other things that I can do?
About your sleep?
Yeah.
There are some things that can change your sleep pattern, because sleep is a habit, and if you get into the habit of going to bed and not going to sleep, then that almost becomes the way that your body thinks about sleep. So we need to change that habit. So there is evidence behind this. It sounds a bit strange, but what we ask you to do is that if you go to bed and you cannot sleep, then you get up. You go and do something else in a different room to your bedroom quietly, and then you return to your bedroom and you try and go to sleep. Give it a little while, but if you're not sleeping, then you get up again. So this sounds like it's a very disrupted night, but in actual fact, what happens is that it helps your body readjust to realizing that the bedroom is for sleep. And there's evidence that it does seem to work. So I'd give that a go as well. But I wouldn't be doing that on the night when you take the sleeping tablet, because hopefully you're going to sleep through that night.
Well, could I listen to a podcast or something?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great thing to do. But having said that, make sure that it's not something that's going to, upset you or sort of awaken you anymore. Something that's calm and peaceful that you're interested in is the best thing to do.
Okay, that sounds easy. Yeah.
Okay. Now, thinking about some of the things that you could do for yourself, although it's really difficult, I'm wondering how you would feel about re-engaging with some exercise.
Well, I'd really like to get back into my fitness.
Yeah. I think it'd be hard for you to immediately go back to CrossFit.
Yeah.
But if you could just start to do some walks, or maybe just go to the gym and do some gentle exercise, there is evidence that exercise is really good for us. You know, it's good for our overall health. So, and your body's probably missing it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely look into that. And the other thing I wanted to ask you is that I've seen on Facebook adverts for meditation, and I've got a friend whose doctor told her about a gratitude journal, and I'm just wondering if should I sign up to the meditation or...
Well, I'm glad you've mentioned those, because they're two of the other things that there's evidence that they do really help. So with the meditation, that is a technique, okay? And there are things on the internet which can show you how to do that, and I can give you some of the links, and I think there may even be some in that leaflet. So this is something you're going to have to learn how to do. So the more you do it, the better you get. So it's a case of persevering with it. You might not feel it's doing anything in the beginning, but as time goes by, you'll start to really feel the benefits of it. The gratitude diary, it's a funny name, but really what it's about is what the evidence says, that our brains focus on negative. So everybody focuses on negative thoughts. And in a gratitude diary, what you have to do is you have to pick 3 things in a day that you're grateful for. And the only rule is that you can't repeat. And they don't have to be big things, you know, they can be that the guy at the coffee shop gave you an extra stamp on your coffee card, or, you know, anything like that. But just 3 things every day. And that's about switching the brain into focusing on positive things. And there is evidence that that does seem to help. In fact, lots of doctors keep gratitude diaries. You'd be surprised.
That's helpful and pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So the other thing that I'm concerned about, and I think will help, in fact I know it will, is that you sort of divorced yourself from your friends in your flat, and you've also not engaging with the people at the gym, and isolation isn't good for you. So it's about reconnecting with people. That's sometimes one of the hardest things to do. And a key way of doing it is thinking about somebody who you think will understand that you're not quite your normal self, but they'll sit and have a coffee with you, and you know, anyway. Is there anyone that you can think of that you might be able to do that with?
Well, it's my mum's birthday this weekend, and I was thinking of maybe going up and to the farm and just spending some time with her, and she's really good with stuff like that. I can just really be myself. That
sounds really good. And you mentioned earlier that you're quite connected to your mum.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, and I don't want to play or push on it at all, but you mentioned that there were some other things that you kind of maybe might want to share with your mum, so it might be an opportunity to do that. Do you think that might happen over the birthday weekend?
Yeah, I'm sure it would, and maybe I'll feel more comfortable to come back and share some more with you once I've at least had a talk to my mum.
Yeah, there's no pressure. Okay, there's absolutely no pressure. So the other thing that I need to mention to you is that there are tablets that we sometimes give people called antidepressants. Don't know how you're feeling about how you would feel about those.
I don't really know. The stuff that I've read and heard about them, I know they feel a little bit scary.
To be honest, I'm not sure that we need to do that at the minute, and it's not something that you have to do straight away. So my feeling is, look, I've given you a lot of information today. You've got your leaflet. You've been very frank and open, which, you know, in itself can be quite exhausting. So I'm wondering whether we should say, look, why don't you go see Mum on the farm, have a good birthday weekend, and then come back and see me next week, having tried some of these things and had a chat with Mum, and then we could take things from there. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. In the meantime, if things get worse in any way, then it is important that you know that, you know, the surgery is open during the day, and you know, you can always ring and get in touch with us. And on that leaflet there is an emergency number that's 24 hours a day. I don't think you're going to need it, to be honest, but I want you to know that it's there, that there is a sort of circle of help.
Thank you.
Is that okay? Look, you go and have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week, eh?
Thank you.